Hey guys, I'm back with another booster box updates. Let's get started. So a lot of changes in the Scarlet Violet booster boxes. I just want to go through those. I see quite a few current trending market changes. Some of them have already happened. Some of them are changes that are precluding to some price changes in the future. So the biggest one is probably Twilight, which moved to $32. Which the only other time I remember seeing it past like 230, sometimes it was like 229, but actually 230 was I saw like a 237. Uh, Probably past it. Uh, yeah, 237 on the 28th of February. I think all the other prices have been generally still below 230. Uh, yeah. So this is kind of second highest I've ever seen Twilight, and it's kind of like I've been telling you guys, like Twilight's been on a runway to just go higher and higher, just because the demand has been kind of steady, usually at least 10 boxes a day, maybe sometimes 15, but usually at least 10. And for Twilight, that's enough because whenever I look at the listings, there's not a lot of listings at the prices. Like even today, it's at 232. Like there's only 2 boxes at that price, and it goes to 235. So it can comfortably be a 235 booster box. After that, then I'm seeing a little more resistance. There's like 8, 9, 14, 15 boxes, and if the normal rate's about 10 or 15, it could reach 238, but we'll see. One thing I never noticed was how much Twilight's actually on the market, and 400 is actually really abnormally large. I usually don't see listed quantities at more than like 200. Like Actually, Stellar is a bad example. Stellar is actually really low at 100. But Obsidian is 217, and this is Paldea is at 200. So it's just abnormal. It's like twice as much as normal. So despite all that, like I don't know, there might be just one big seller if I go draw the listings that has like a ton of boxes listed. Let's look at page 5 for a sec. So that could be affecting it, but other than that, like um, it's a little surprising that there's so much Twilight on TCG Player, but most of it's actually, yeah, it is this one trading card world. Actually, so okay, let's put that in the context. So there are 400 boxes listed, and there are 282 finished lists as one seller, and it's not a $300 booster box, like not even close yet. So actually, honestly, that makes a lot more sense. There's only about 120 boxes right now listed on the marketplace, pretty much. And a lot of them are also like much higher price. So like this gives another sense of like sort of the Twilight scarcity. I think a lot of people might look at this number and be like, oh, there's so much available, but like, yeah, we're seeing like definitely some Twilight booster box scarcity. And I said before that I think it's because of the reprint. Like, no, there haven't been any like real reprints. Yeah, I've seen like Best Buy have them, but overall, like I know we're about to get like a really tiny one, but like relative to everything else, like we know Paldea has had several reprints and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, Twilight's just in a really good place because of that. Okay, so what else? So all right, let me just go in order. But so SC base, it was kind of lagging for a while, but now I'm seeing it like possibly returning back to like the mid 190s. Um, Increased from about 190 to 192. I think the previous high was about 196. Demand wasn't anything too crazy. It was 12, which is pretty good for like the low average. But one thing I noticed was like I think yesterday, and I don't really recheck the numbers. I just kind of go by memory for these sort of things. But I think it was like trending to about like 200 something. That could be wrong about that. And so I think I'm noticing that like yeah, we're finally starting to reach that like people are not like adding as much Scarlet Violet base back to the market, and that's like a good sign for like okay, if they're not adding as much more, then the price can finally increase because if the buying rate is about the same, then yeah, the price will go up. And yeah, there's only one box at this 192, and then we get to 194 of these 10 boxes. And also, I don't see um, the really obvious like lowball sellers like Heavy Tech, CG's Castle, Hollow something. Um, so yeah, I only see this one seller with 10 boxes. Everyone else selling just a couple of boxes. So when I scroll down to bottomless, I get to 200. So we're starting to see more of a runway for Scarlet Violet base to reach like 200. Yeah, the sort of thing will happen all the time. Like people will, you'll see the price not really move much, but at some point the amount of boxes that people are willing to sell for that price has to go down. There's only really so much available that people are willing to sell. All right, Paldea. I think Paldea went up like $2. Uh, that's like $1. So yeah, Paldea. Um, there's only about 6 boxes at that price, and it goes to about 227, so like $1 more. But it's only like each of these prices are just like $1 more than each other, so it's not really a huge price jump or anything. I do notice that Paldea has had consistently low demand. Like I usually comment on the first day, I'm like, oh, that's like kind of low demand, and then and this is like the third day in a row where it's been like about 10 boxes, which is pretty low for it. Usually it's more like 15 or 20. So yeah, Paldea demand is kind of slowing down, and with the people selling the boxes for nearly the same price, I don't really see like a ton of huge increases in the near future. Like in the next couple of days, like Twilight is more primed to go up. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Um, there's like a 230 here. Like technically in like a couple of days maybe, but as of right now, like there's too many sellers resisting the higher price. All right, Obsidian, like the price didn't change. The man is still kind of consistent at the normal low of it, about 10 boxes. And I think I was seeing sort of a runway. Yeah, it has. It also has a runway to go up. So I don't see a lot of a lot of the lowball sellers who list really high quantities. So after that, to get to 205, which is about here, you have to sell like 11 boxes. Yeah, that's correct. So 11 boxes. So yeah, it's kind of primed to go to like 205 about, which will be a new high for Obsidian. Um, so yeah, I kind of look forward to that. Yeah, people can put pricing in between, but yeah, Obsidian's already had that slow period where like it had a pretty consistent sales, but like people just kept listing the lower prices, or people just kept listing lower prices. But I think we're finally starting to run out of that. All right, so Paradox and Temporal, I classify them both as like some of the slower boxes. Literally, like the time has come, like we've reached the point where Heavy Tech is kind of almost the lowest seller, and so we have to get through the Heavy Tech boxes. There's 80 here for Temporal, and second, it's all second here. It's 112 for Paradox. So until these are all bought out, like it's gonna be really hard for it to really increase in price. So I'm just kind of waiting for that to sell out. Um, yeah, Paradox optimistically sells about like 20 boxes a day, usually probably a little less, like 17 or something. So that's gonna take some time. And then Temporal, yeah, don't fully sleep on Temporal, but yeah, I think there's just like one seller trying to sell it for like $2 less than marketplace, or a few dollars less, and then you get to Heavy Tech, it goes back to 180. But yeah, they're trying to offload their boxes, and demand for it is kind of like 7 to 12. So those are the ones that are gonna take a while just because like there's actually a big buyer who's offloading their boxes. Twilight I already talked about. Stellar has went back up to about 198. It's basically already a $200 booster box. Just recently it did go to like 200s, like it was 199.97, and then it stayed around there for about a couple of days. It was like 199. So from this like March 5th to March 8th kind of time period. Um, yeah, Stellar also has kind of a runway to. So what I'm seeing is, so this is only second day, but I noted yesterday that like demand kind of doubled. So normally demand is about like 8 to 10, sometimes like 13 or 15. But yesterday was 20, and today was also 20. So and then also the amount of boxes is just really really low at 106, considering it's such a new set. That's really really surprising. I kind of wonder if people really like Stellar and it's a little oversold, and also yeah, I mean, like, what else were people supposed to buy? Like, there's don't like there's a lot. It has a lot of factors like Twilight in a sense. Like, there must have been only so much printed of it, and there was no reprint. Um, but yeah, over here there's only 2 boxes at 198, and it goes to straight to 199. and it goes to 200. So it honestly should break 200 like tomorrow. If it was like 2 or 3 tomorrow, I wouldn't be too surprised. There just aren't as many sellers. Like I don't even recognize all these sellers. So that's kind of a good sign for it to go up. And Surging Sparks, it went down like $2. I don't really talk much about Surging Sparks just because like there's not really much to say sometimes. um, it's just kind of doing well. There's not. It's kind of just always staying around the same price point, and people are still buying it. Okay, so for Sword and Shield, um, Sword and Shield, like there weren't really like any price increases. I put Brilliant Stars here because I haven't listed in a while, but it's pretty much the same as before. I just wanted it to be visible. And Darkness Blaze, like I was like I should write something. It moved like 50 cents. But Sword and Shield, base and Rebel Clash haven't really moved. I'll just tell you the little bits of like market interesting things. Darkness Blaze is the first time that it hasn't had sale in March 2nd to in like 10 days. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. Battle styles. I don't really cover battle styles of Voltage that much because I'm like, there's no one's gonna like go and crazy and like raise the market price that much, because there's just so much of out there. But I have noticed like you see like this March 9th to March 13th period has been actually March 8th because there's no sales to March 13th. The sales have been kind of slower. Bar just like a little lower. It seemed like a little more consistent at like 8 boxes for a while. Um, and now a lot of is that 8? No, consistently 5, and then like it's like 2, 3, 4, 1. Um, yeah, like it was definitely stronger around this late February time, so it's kind of returning back to what it was in more like mid February. Okay, so Chilling Rain, no boxes were bought yesterday, and I'm still waiting for it to hit like 330, which is kind of a more significant milestone. It's been oscillating around like 325, like 275 to 325. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, so this 320 whatever price doesn't really impress me. Um, Evolving Skies, the 3 boxes were bought yesterday. I think I mentioned this yesterday how people are buying these $700 boxes. I don't really get it, but yeah, it's still stuck around this 1309 price. Fusion Strike, I want to compare it to Lost Origin. So yeah, Fusion Strike, the target price is about $500 because that's kind of breaking the previous high, and then for Lost Origin, breaking the previous high is like 410. Um, it does seem like there's like fewer Fusion Strike boxes needed to be bought to get there. So yeah, Fusion Strike has still had consistent demand of 1 box per day to get to 500. Um, it'd have to be up to here. So that's like 3, 5, 10, 12, 13, 14, like 14 boxes to reach 500 versus let's look at Lost Origin. Lost Origin had 1 sold yesterday. So to get to 4, let's say 410, it's kind of the new. Yeah, this is 410 over here. So that's 6, 12, 16, 17, 23, 24. So yeah, in that sense, yeah, there's apparently fewer fusion. Like it's still quite a bit of boxes to go through considering the sales numbers. But I think like I said, Fusion Strike had about 16 boxes, and Lost Origin had about 24 boxes. And even Lost Origin, it's not even that big of a jump. It's like a $5 jump from like where it is now, or a $10 jump. Versus for Fusion Strike, it's more like a 32. Because right now it's at 468. So, yeah, in that sense, I am a little more optimistic to our Fusion Strike because there just seems to be a little more resistance with Lost Origin. Like, based on those quantities, like, more boxes need to be sold. So 93 versus 93 available versus 91. And they both have about the same current quantity. Although that could be meaningless depending on if there's like a really large sellout later on. Brilliant Stars is following a similar pattern to what Astral Radiance went through. Consistent sales and all of a sudden like no sales in the last couple of days. It's primed to go to 305. It's just no one's been buying the last couple of days. So it happened to Astral Radiance. So if it's the same thing as Astral Radiance, like I'm just just wait a few days, and eventually people will pay attention to Brilliant Stars again. Astral Radiance remain the same price. Only one box is bought yesterday. Um, to get to the next price point, it only takes like 4 boxes. And then Silver Tempest still has consistent sales. Um, Two were bought yesterday. One was already bought today. It's at about 280, 258. It's already been at 260. I'm looking forward to when it goes like 265, but we're still. I don't know. It's about like roughly 7 boxes. Oh, actually, that's like 5 boxes. So like, we're not too far from 265, but people have to keep buying Silver Tempest and hopefully at a better rate. All right, that's it for actually. Just one little funny thing, like because I don't really want to cover this in a video. Pokemon is apparently making these Italian leather deck boxes for like $96 each. Um, I'm like so curious how many people end up buying these and what these end up being in the aftermarket. A lot of people, it's not really worth it for most people, but Pikachu and the Umbreon, I'm looking at like, oh, people might actually buy these and be like other collectibles for those. But yeah, there's like an alternative one for like $16, and there's even this whole line of these accessories. But yeah, this is definitely more of a luxury sort of thing. It's not like the end of the world. Like $96 for a deck box, like it's technically affordable because like you're gonna buy a booster box for way more. But like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I wonder how this sort of like luxury item kind of does. All right, that's it for today's video. Thanks, guys. Bye.